Hello everyone, welcome once again to Geo-Spatial tutorial. I receive mails from people who are new to the field of geospatial technologies to discuss basics of remote sensing and GIS. So today I have decided let's start with the creation, editing and working with shapefiles in ArcMap. Let's open ArcMap first and let's see what are different types of data that is used in ArcMap. Primarily, there are two types of data used in remote sensing and GIS. One is raster and the other one is vector. Raster file is an image file that you see in your screen right now is a satellite image, and this is a raster file. Raster file is basically stored as a number of pixels. As you go on zooming raster data, you will end up in pixelation. So each pixel represents a specific area on the ground, which is also known as spatial resolution of that image. But however, this is beyond the scope of this particular study, so let's not discuss too much into that. This is basically raster data, which is like any other normal image. Let's remove this raster data and see data, which is also known as vector data. Vector data is a continuous data. As you can see here, no matter to what extent you zoom in, this will never ever get pixelated. So that is primarily the difference between a raster and a vector. Of course, there are differences primarily with the way they are represented, the way they are stored, but let's keep it to this level. So vector data that is used in ArcGIS or ArcMap in its format is called as shapefile. So this shapefile is very important in carrying out any GIS work. Vector data that you create in ArcMap is shapefile. Let us see how to create a vector data or shapefile in ArcMap. You can go here. Here there is an option called catalog. Just click on that and navigate to the folder and the directory you are interested to create your shapefile in, and go to the location and do a right click, and you get an option called new, and there you have an option called shapefile. This is how you create a shapefile in the Arc catalog. All your database is stored in your directories which are managed using Arc catalog. Let's click on shapefile and enter the name as borewell, and this is a point data. I'm creating it as borewell primarily because a point data represent a point. It can be a borewell, it can be an electricity point, or it can be an intersection of a latitude and a longitude, etc, etc. Let's create it as borewell and let's keep it as point, and let us not define any projection now. You can define it later, or if you want you can definitely define it now, but let's not go for that right now. Click OK, and it is telling that you do not have spatial reference, primarily to say that your data is not projected. Click OK, and you have created a shapefile called borewell, but you have to add data to that. To add data, you need to have some base map over which you can create your maps. So let us add some image, the image that we were just seeing. Let's take this image and add it to the map, and right click here and zoom to the layer will bring you to the image. Let's double click on that and go to symbology and change the band combination to 4, 3 and 2. That is the most popular combination for any of remote sensing and GIS work, and click OK. This is your false color composite image, and now we will digitize our borewell points Here, digitization is primarily creating vector data in ArcMap. So how do we do it? Let's close this catalog and go to the editor. Here is your editor, and if you do not have it here, you can right click here and get it from this particular place. Let's go to editor and start editing. You will have to start editing any feature to be able to edit or create any data. Let's select borewell and click continue. Now you are all set to edit the data. Now once you have clicked on start editing, your create feature properties or the option has become active. Click on that and select this. Now you are all set to create the points. Let's consider this as one borewell. Let's consider this as another borewell. Let's consider this as one more borewell. Now you have created 3 borewells in your screen. Let's go and see its attribute table. Attribute table is the one where you store the database for the particular feature that you have created. Right click here and go to attribute table, and you can see here 3 points 1, 2, 3. But however, all 3 are identical. You do not have any option to differentiate between them, so it makes all the more sense for you to name those 3 points. Let's close here and come back to editor and stop editing. It will ask whether you want to save the edits. Yes, we want all these borewell points, so we'll click yes and go back to attribute table. Here you find an arrow mark. Click on that and your add field is highlighted. Click on that. Make sure that your editing session is ended. If you are in editing session, you will not be able to add any field. Now that you have stopped your editing session, you can add a field. We will add the name as name of the borewell and keep it as text. We will name borewell as A, B or C. So we'll keep it as text, and length, let's keep it as 10. You can define how much ever you want, but make sure that if you have given it as 10, it will not take 11 characters for the name field. So select it based on your requirement. Click OK and close this. Now go back to editor and click start editing and press continue. Go to borewell, right click, go to open attribute table. Here you can enter, but however, to give you a better idea, let's do it in another way. Just remove this layer stack from the display. Now you have 3 points, not very clearly seen, so double click here on borewell and go to symbology, click on symbol and change the color you want and make it 10 or 11. Click OK. In fact, you can even choose the symbol here, different kind of symbols. Click OK and click OK. Now you can see your points very clearly, and select this point, this button, to be able to select a specific feature. Click on that. Now you have selected a feature. Let's go back to attribute table and see what has happened. Let's open attribute table and your 1 point is selected, which means to say that whatever you have selected in your screen is highlighted in your attribute table. Let's click on this field and click name as A. Let's name this borewell as A, the other borewell as B, then another borewell as C. And let's close it and go to editor and press stop editing and click yes, where it asks confirm you want to save your edits. Yes. Now you have created your point data set. Let's close this and see the database that you have created. Just click on this eye for identify and click on any point data that you have created. It will show you the type is point and name is A that you have just defined. Go to the next one, the name is B. Similarly, you can define any number of fields and any number of data can be entered and can be seen here. You have advanced options as well here in Boreware. Once you go to open attribute table, you can see a lot of functions here where you can select using queries, where you can add data using field calculator and do some mathematical calculations, etc., etc., which is little advanced. Let us not break our head on that. However, if you want mathematical operations on these things and carrying out field calculator exercise, etc., etc., is already discussed in some other tutorial in the same channel. Let's close this and let's remove Borewell and create next type of data, that is a linear feature, that is a line data, polyline. Just click on Arc Catalog and right click here, go to new. You will create one more shapefile. Let us name it as stream1 and let us make it polyline and click OK. Click OK. And what you will be creating now basically is streams. Let's go back to the image and see whether we can figure out any streams here. I can see two streams here, 2-3 streams. Let us digitize those streams in the line feature. Polyline basically represents a linear feature. It can be a road, it can be a stream, it can be electricity cable, etc., etc., whatever is linear. Let us close this, go back to editor and start an editing session. Whichever you want to edit, select that, click continue and click here on create features and click on the stream. Your editing session starts now, and take extra care that you edit it properly or digitize it properly. I am doing it in a hurry. Primary idea is that wherever your line takes a turn, you will have to click. If your line is not taking any turn, you can continue it straight. When you want to end your line, just double click instead of single click. It will complete your feature. Let's start digitizing another feature. And we have digitized 2 streams in this image. Let's remove this layer so that you can see the streams. Anyway, this is not very clearly visible, and this is highlighted, that's why it is in this color. You can just go here and select another stream so that this particular stream goes off. You can deselect all, and this is the general color of your stream. Let's change the symbology for the stream. Double click and go to symbology, click on symbol. Let's change the color to blue. Let's increase the width to 3. Click OK and click OK here. Now you can see your streams very clearly. Now let us stop editing, and yes, we want to save edits. Let's go to the attribute table by right clicking on the table of content, click on down arrow, click on add field. We'll put it as name. Instead of keeping it as text, we will keep it as short integer, which basically means to say that you have to name your feature as 1, 2, 3, 4 instead of A, B, C, D. Precision is the number of digits you want it after the decimal, so we do not need. We'll keep it as 0 and click OK. Let's go back to the editor and do a start editing session. Select this, continue and go back to attribute table and name it as 1 and 2. Now let's go back and stop editing in the screen. I'm doing it a little faster because you have already learned how to start and stop edit or create database in point feature itself. So let's go to I here for identify and see what this line is. It is a polyline and the name is 1. You can select this. It is 2. Let's close this. These are point and polyline features. Now let's create a polygon feature. Let's remove streams from the display and go to layer stack and create a polygon feature. Polygon is nothing but your beginning and end point of a line is same. That will create a polygon feature. So it can represent something like a lake, a residential area, a township, a football ground, etc., 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 whichever is aerial distance, whichever is having some area. So let's go to our catalog, do right click again, click on new, create a shapefile. I'll change the name it as area, and this will be polygon feature type. Let's click OK, and since the name is already existing, I'll put it as area 1 and click OK. This doesn't have a spatial reference, it's fine with us. Let's click OK, and you are now all set to create an area. Let's close this and go to editor and start editing session. Select area and click continue, and here select create features option. Let us select area and start digitizing your feature. Now you can see it is little different than your point or a line feature, but make sure that even by mistake you do not press your mouse button twice. The double click means that it will end your feature, so that your first and the last points are joined with the straight line to complete the feature. Say for example, I am interested to continue till here, but by mistake I press it twice here. Let's see what happens. I have pressed it here and the feature is complete, but I intended to do it here as well. However, you can edit this data later, which I will teach you later, but whenever you are doing it, to be more comfortable, make sure that you do not make the mistake of doing a double click before completing your feature. So let's digitize another feature. Let's say this is a lake I am interested to digitize, and this is over, and double click will complete this feature. I'll not create an attribute table for this. I have already explained how to do it. You can do it yourself. Let's close this. Let's close this as well and click stop editing and save your edits. Now you have learned how to create a point data, how to create a stream polyline data, and how to create an polygon data. Now let us see how to edit a feature that is already created. For any reason, maybe you need to do some modification to your feature. Maybe it has changed over the years, or maybe even for a reason like you have committed a mistake. As I have told you earlier, you wanted the feature to be till here, but you have clicked twice here your left button of the mouse, so that your feature just ended here. So let us see how to edit it. Let's go to editor and start editing and select the feature that you want to edit now. Now I am interested to edit the area, and I'll start editing and select this feature, whichever feature I want to edit, because I have created two features. Any one of them you can edit. So I'll select this, and I have an option called edit vertices. I'll click on that. Now whatever points those you have clicked are stored. We can change it. Just click, go there, your mouse pointer changes. You can just pull it to the place you want. That is one way. And if you feel number of points are not enough, if you pull it anywhere, your feature is not going to complete. In that case, what you will be doing is go here, on the line do a right click. There is an option called insert vertex. Your one vertex will be inserted. I'll pull it here. It's little bit done. I'll insert one more vertex. I'll pull that vertex here. I'll insert one more vertex. I'll pull that vertex here, and so on and so forth to complete my editing. Now that I have done that, it is changed. You can save edits and stop editing. Similarly, you can edit streams as well. For example, you wanted the stream to be till here instead of till here. Let's go to editor, start editing, click on stream, click continue, select the feature that you want to edit, press on edit vertices, and you can just pull your feature till the place you want. Or you don't want it, hit Ctrl Z, right click, insert vertex, so that your one point is stagnant there, and pull here, and you want another point to be here. Just right click, insert vertex, and pull it over here. Just deselect the things, go to editor and stop editing. This is how you edit polygon and a polyline feature. Let's see how do we edit a point feature. Let's deselect these two and go to the point. Zoom to the layer. Here are your points. Say you digitized it by mistake here, whereas you wanted this point to be somewhere here. Select Borewell and go to editor option, click start editing, click on Borewell because you want to edit that, and take this point, select this and move it. Say I wanted it to be here. So now your point is changed. In your database, the latitude and longitude of this particular point will be changed once you save the edits, whereas your database that you have created for the name and other purposes will remain same, because in this case you have only changed the location and nothing else. If you want to change the properties as well, you have to go back to attribute table and change the properties. This holds good for all three types of data, that is point, polyline and polygon. This is how you edit all three types of vector data. We have finished the basic editing in ArcGIS, the vector files. Let me just explain the advanced editing options available in ArcMap. Say for example you have created a polygon. This is the polygon, and you feel that this should have been two polygons because there is a line cutting across this. In that case, you can cut this polygon into two without changing any other property of this particular polygon. Let us see how do we do that. As usual, to do any sort of editing, you have to start editing. As it is already in the editing mode, let us go ahead and see how to cut this polygon into two. You have a tool here in the editor toolbox. this is the tool that lets you cut the polygon. First of all, you need to select the polygon you want to cut and then go to the cut polygon feature and just select that and say from here till here I want to cut this polygon. Just double click at the end point. Now your one polygon has become two. You can see this is one polygon and this is another polygon. Now if you go to the attribute table, you have, instead of two polygons, three polygons, because you have created two polygons and cut one polygon into half, so you got together three polygons. That's about cutting polygon feature. As we have cut the polygon, we can also split a polyline. Let us see how to do that. Let's go to the editing session first and then select the feature which you want to split. Say let us split this particular polyline somewhere here. Here you have an option called split tool. This tool will allow you to cut the polyline in the position where you want to cut it. Let's cut it here. Just put a click. Now your one polygon has become two. You can see till here is one polygon and from here till bottom is another polygon. That's about cutting the polyline. Rather, it's not polygon, polyline. Let's go to the attribute table and see. Now you have three polylines instead of two polylines that you have created initially, and the name of one polygon that you have split into two has copied the name from the other. So let's close it. I have told you that time that in case if you have by mistake have done a double click, then it is very difficult to carry out the completion of the polygon. You have to edit vertices is one option. You have another option called Reshape feature tool. Say you wanted to complete this polygon this way, but for some reason you double clicked somewhere and it has come to this way. So let us see how to reshape this polygon. That feature you want to reshape, and take the reshape tool and just click like this. Do a double click here. Your polygon has taken the new shape that you wanted it to take. So that is reshaping your polygon. Now there are some very interesting options like a freehand. Till now, how you have been digitizing is clicking on each and every point where you wanted to digitize your feature. Now there is an option called freehand. Let us see how does it work. First of all, go to create features and come down and select the feature you want to carry out this process for. This is area, and let us come down further. There is an option called freehand. Just select that and let us see how does it work. Now you will click only the first point and you can move your hand, just move your mouse over the feature you want to digitize, and you need to click again the last point. Now what you have done is only click the first point and just moved throughout the area which you wanted to digitize and click the last point. That has created a polygon for you, which is freehand. Similarly, you have an option called autocomplete polygon. Say for example you have two adjoining polygons. Say I have a polygon here and I have a polygon here. If there is a polygon that is in between these two, which will be sharing boundary of this and the boundary of this, that will be very difficult to digitize, because you cannot digitize exactly over this line again and again. So you have an autocomplete polygon option. Let us see how does it work. Let us consider that a polygon which shares this common boundary and this common boundary here, which is just here, has a different independent existence. Take your first point from this polygon and digitize exactly over the line where you want to digitize. Once you are inside the polygon that will be sharing common boundary with the new polygon, you need not bother, just click wherever you want and say you exit from here. Again, you be careful exactly where you are digitizing. Once you entered the first polygon where you have commenced, just double click as you do in case of any other feature to complete the sketch. Just double click and there you go. You have another polygon that is exactly coinciding with the adjacent polygons in their boundaries. So that's about autocomplete polygon. And you have another very useful tool, autocomplete freehand. It is just like autocomplete polygon, just that instead of clicking everywhere, you will be using the freehand as explained in the previous tool. And you have one more very interesting tool one over here, which is called tracing. Say for example you want to digitize this boundary of this particular polygon, or let's consider in this case the line, because we have done enough of polygon. So let's consider the line, and you want to digitize half of it for some reason, and next you will be going somewhere else. So in that case you will be selecting that feature and select the feature stream here, because you will be tracing stream. Click on that and click on trace option and click on the first point from where you want to begin, and after that just go over that. It exactly traces the line which you want to trace. You will not be clicking anything anywhere. Once you want to finish the sketch, just double click and your sketch is finished. If you want to have a look, just select the second one that you have selected and you can move it. You can see how you have done the tracing of that particular line. Over that, here in create features you have certain other possibilities, like creating a rectangle. You can select the rectangle tool, just click on one point, click on the second point and just extend your rectangle the way you want, and click the third point, your sketch is complete. And similarly you have a circle tool. You can just click one place and define your radius like this, and your circle is done. Similarly you have an ellipse where you can just take an ellipse and draw it. You got an ellipse, and freehand, as I have already told you. So these are the advanced editing and creating options available in ArcMap. Say you want to trace a swimming pool which is rectangle, you can use it, the tool called rectangle, to digitize that. And circularly you may need to be digitizing some other tool, so this will be very useful. Now for example, if you have created a tool and then you want to change the orientation of it by rotating it, just select the rotate tool over here And first of all, you will be defining which tool you will be rotating, which feature you will be rotating rather. Just select that feature, just go to the rotate and take it over that feature and just rotate it. It will exactly rotate in from its midpoint. So that's how you rotate a feature. And mind you, these all are features. It is not graphic that you create in paint or any other software. These are features which are having proper database in terms of attribute tables. So these are the editing options that you get in Arc. Similarly, you can explore all other options here available, like move, split, and construct points, buffer, zone, clipping, etc., etc. on your own. And this will not be very difficult, as you now know the basics of creation and editing of shape files in ArcMap. Now that you have learned how to create and edit the features, that is in shapefile, you can do all the processes that can be done in ArcMap, because entire world can be represented using point, polygon, and polyline. Now you also know what is a raster data. You have an image, you can carry out all the processes that can be done using these basic data types. So you have plenty of options available in ArcMap, which you will be using for any of your study and research purposes, which are listed. Plenty of them are listed in my tutorial. You can go through this. 90% of the tutorial use these three types of data, that is point, polyline, and polygon, in addition with the grid data or the raster data. That's all about basics of creating, editing, and using and working with shapefiles in ArcMap. Thanks for watching.